right, Black Box Radio. We're in the Rona Report. We have Crystal Parker with us. Say hey, Crystal, to the people.
Hey, everybody.
So, Miss Crystal, we want to hear your experience with the coronavirus, COVID-19. So, just tell the people what you would normally do if this was like a regular April day. What do you do professionally?
I consider myself to be a public servant. So I'm generally out in the community, helping with whatever needs help with, educating the community about certain things as far as, just trash pickup, voting rights, how to get your ID, any day-to-day basic thing that the community needs that they don't have the proper information or access to. Those are basically the needs that I fill. My most popular populations that I really, really love to deal with are our youth and our seniors. For me, I believe that any quote unquote leader that is not dealing with those two entities, I would question, because you're talking about your future, you're talking about the future and you're talking about the wisdom of the past, and those have to gel. Yep. In order for us to be a forward-moving society and a successful community, there's no way we cannot deal with those two populations and say that we are leaders or we are here for the people.
Love it. So you bring information to the community, you stabilize the community with the information that you provide that folks wouldn't know. They can come to you and get that type of information.
Absolutely. Right? It's all about advocacy. Even if someone was in the hospital and they were not getting the proper care or they did not have an advocate for themselves or didn't know what questions to ask. It's all about advocacy, helping people to be able to ask the right questions and get the services that they deserve as a person, so that everybody, it's about advocacy and opening up the forum to provide equitable service to everybody.
That's amazing. In our community, equitable anything is hard to say. It's hard for it's not a lot of equity in the Black community. That's the truth.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's amazing. So at this point in time, what's particularly is going, because you've had a health event. So I want to kind of share with that, because that really is where you are right now.
Yes, absolutely. So my life completely changed miraculously on March 14th of this month. I received a kidney transplant after 8 years of dialysis. And, when I kind of looked at that, because we had some regulations when I went in for surgery, but the regulations became, more impactful once,
stringent.
Stringent. Yes. Once I came home on March the 17th. So on March the 14th, you could have someone come to the hospital with you. No problem. One person. Now there's no visitors at the hospital. So, you've got people in chronic situations that are dealing with them alone, without the added, the added family or friend there to visit with them. And when I thought about the timing, I was like, this could not have been a more perfect time, because once you are transplanted, you have to self-isolate and social distance for at least 30 days. Anyway. So I would not have wanted to dealt with COVID-19 and then had to isolate again for 30 days, because what that means for me specifically is not seeing my grandchildren, who I spend every Monday with, and then sometimes they just come knocking on my door, and they're 5 and 6. So, that's been the hardest thing, because we live in the same complex and I cannot see them.
Yeah, and because you're compromised, so no one can come around.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So really, this has you've been blessed to be transplanted after 8 years. That is an absolute blessing. God is in the building. So you've been transplanted, and now you have this new organ. So that, of course, number one, you can't have a lot of contact with other people. So Rona is doing the same thing your kidney doing, ain't it?
Absolutely, but but the kidney part is, that's the miraculous, blessing part. Now the corona, I don't know where she came from, but
she's not a girl.
Him, whatever.
Him. Thank you.
him. So you don't think a girl would wreak this much havoc?
No, the girl don't like lungs. We like kidneys and hearts. That's a old man. He just want to breathe on you. That's an old man disease.
Okay, all right. Okay, I'll take that.
Well, linguistically, words that end in A are typically feminine. Just saying.
See, he always got to be so damn smart.
I'm just saying. You could call it.
He's always the smartest one in the building. He gets on my nerve. Now he's linguistically.
If you wanna go to the masculine side, call it COVID. That's a masculine name. But if you're calling it Rona, that's a feminine name.
All right, bro. All right, we're gonna call it COVID.
Okay. We'll call it COVID because we don't want nothing to do with it. So
Rona. It's COVID. This is the COVID report.
Yes.
But it's all good. I know what you're talking about. So you're saying that in all actuality, the only issue you're really having is not seeing that 5 and 6 year old.
Absolutely. And the 9-year-old that's across town. Yeah, absolutely. That's
seeing them 3 is your issue. Yeah.
That's my issue. That's my issue.
Wow. That's a great
I'm good.
That is a beautiful thing that you're not having. So you're not having a lot of side effects. You're not feeling bad. How do you feel dramatically better after the transplant? This is something that, most of us would not know.
Yeah, I think so. I can see more. I can see it. Not that I necessarily feel it more physically, but I can see it more physically, even in my, because, when people have, well, you may not know, but when people have kidney disease, their complexion is not their complexion.
The swelling.
So, yeah. So I have been like, I'm like 3 shades lighter. So when you see me, you might not be able to recognize me. So,
Miss Crystal, you're a white woman.
So no, not that far. Let's not go that far.
Hair gonna straighten out.
I know.
She walking around looking like Lena Horne.
Eyes black, okay? No, not Becky. Your eyes black. Her name is okay.
Crystal is Becky.
Hey, I said Lena Horne. I didn't say Becky. I said Lena Horne.
I said Becky.
Well, now I would have to say, I don't know if Becky passed, but Lena did. So I ain't trying to pass. Lena passed. Lena used that to her advantage. Yeah, she passed. She was passing. She was passing, so she used that to her advantage.
Imitation of life in this piece. Remember that movie?
Yes.
I'm telling you. So, of course, you filter better because the renal system is a filtering movement. So if you're filtering the way you are, you get rid of fluids, your complexion,
waste,
because when fluids sit under your skin, it darkens your skin.
Yes.
So that's totally why you see the coloration when it comes to when your kidneys are not doing what they're supposed to do. It will show.
Yes.
So
and I do know that from experience before, because this is my second transplant within a. Yes, it is. And both times I've been on the dialysis for 8 years. And so I had the first one I had for 12 years, had a health event that caused that one to stop working, stop functioning. Yes. And then, there was another 8 years. So, I was telling my husband, when I thought about it, as I was going to be admitted for the surgery, I said, honey, do you realize that I've almost spent half of my life on dialysis? I've almost spent 20 years, 2 years shy of 20 years on dialysis.
Wow. That's a lot of time.
That's a lot of time. But what I have to say is that every time I never missed a beat because God allowed me to walk in my purpose whatever state I was in, whatever state of affairs I was in, God always allowed me to walk in my purpose, and even to sometimes a purpose evolved in the midst of that state that I was in, for that purpose to be shown while I was, say, on dialysis or, dealing with other health issues. So I am not in the least sorrowful or, disheartened or, angry or any of those things, because I understand that a lot of times whatever cross we bear is not necessarily for us, but it's for us to be in that moment when God will show himself and we show his glory and his divine purpose through our walk and our trust and our faith in him.
Look at you, Sister Crystal. That is amazing. What you just said is amazing, because first I'm hearing this is your second transplant. That's something we did not know. And on top of that, so that means when you went through this, you knew what to expect because you had done it before. And then you said you've been on dialysis for almost 20 years. So you've been through a lot for a long time, and now you're just resting and trying to recoup. It seems like your body is accepting of this organ. So it's a beautiful thing that now when the country resets, the world resets, you will be resetting also. You know what I mean? Like we're all in the same place. It's like we all have been transplanted because we all got to sit our butt down here and reevaluate, and we cannot move until COVID allows us to. You know what I mean? So it's so amazing what you say. And listen,
just call it Ron.
You're so I got to put it in there. Yeah. So you definitely are. You're so positive. And that's an amazing thing you said. And even in your time, you were able to be walking your purpose. Because I met you and you was moving. I never know you needed no kidneys. That blew my mind, because I met you. We was on a hood hike. Remember?
Yes, absolutely. But too, now I will admit that during this time there was a moment for about a day when I was feeling as though I wasn't doing enough. And what that means is that, so even being home and isolated, I'm still helping and assisting with calling seniors, checking on them through a partnership that I have with and one of the because I'm working on helping with one of the campaigns as well. So I'm making calls and coordinating things and all that. So what'd you say?
Who are you helping, sister?
I'm actually helping the Friends of Tory Rose campaign for 7th District City Council. Yes, and
she's running for what? What's she running for?
She's running for City Council for the 7th District.
7th District, unopposed, right?
No, actually, now there are about 4 candidates running against her. They filed at the last minute.
Yeah, because she was unopposed for a long time.
She was, but the great thing about this is that the calls, checking on the seniors, and taking supplies and food and different things like that. Those are things we've always done. So they're not new to us. We just beefed it up a little bit, and I was feeling a little bit like, well, dag, because I'm used to being out there. That dag, I'm not doing enough. So I had a day. I gave myself a day when I was feeling, not useful, sure. And I had to be reminded that, the team had to remind me that, one, you're recuperating from something major, and you're doing, please, you are doing more than some people are doing, so don't be so hard on yourself.
You got 2 kidneys.
Right. So I am learning how to coordinate from the comfort of my living room sofa. And then the other thing too is what I did see in this is that, I believe that God is giving a lot of his leaders time to rest and reflect right now, so that they can be renewed and revitalized, so that he can speak to them, so they'll be a little bit more still, and that they can hear him for the next level of directives. So I do believe that I just got to be willing to do a little bit more to sit still and listen, even at home, because I'm used to running. So
yes. But you know what? What I will say to you is, listen, you're doing amazing for to be 3 weeks out of a transplant, and you to give us this time to talk to us about COVID-19.
Ronald.
Huh? Oh, Ronald. Excuse me. Talk about Ronald 19. So we really appreciate that. And I just want to say to you before we get your last will and testament, please just stay safe and I'm inspired. I'm inspired by your story. It's a blessing.
Well, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to share the story, and what I want to leave everybody with is that, find the goodness even in this time of despair. Find the goodness, that you can, and people that are able to be home with their children, make those memories, check on your seniors, make those memories, because there is a lot of goodness, that can come out of a bad situation, if we look for it, and that will make us better people, when this is over.
Beautiful last will and testament. Excellent. G?
Thank you so much, Crystal, for taking time with us again and bearing with us through all the technical issues of getting you on here so that you can share your story. We really appreciate that. And also thanks for all of the words of inspiration that you provided to the community.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you again for allowing me this time. And thank you for what you do, what you both do to get information out to the community.
Absolutely. If you're listening right now and you would like to hear more voices from the Rona Report, make sure you visit blackboxradio.com. That's BLAKBOXXRADIO.com. You can also find Black Box on Instagram and Facebook at Black Box, and on Twitter at Box Black. That's BOXXBLAK. Check out all the voices on the Rona Report.
All right. Twitter. I like how you said that, G. But anyway, we are in the Ronald Report. The Rona Report. We had Crystal Parker. Thank you, Ms. Parker. We really appreciate you again.
My pleasure.
And this is Black Box Radio.
410.
This is 41020. And we out. Peace.